Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. I tried this yesterday. I recorded the entire video. I swear that it had sound. And then when I... somewhere between when I saved it, when I uploaded it, and by the time it was done, it did not have sound. So my apologies to everybody for that trickery, but we are... Is this moving, or is the camera zooming in and out automatically? This is obviously not my normal setup, nor is this my normal recording place. I am in the condo in Washington, D.C. I spent the weekend at Boatfest, and what a great time I had at Boatfest. I got to meet lots and lots of people that I've interacted with online, some that I hadn't interacted with online very much, and got to have lots of fun conversations, got to see lots of great computer systems. You know, we were joking at one time. I brought my... CD32. I have an NTSC CD32, which is relatively rare. Those were not released in the United States. They were released. It's mostly a PAL system from Commodore. It's a CD-based Amiga, more or less, console, and they released them in Canada, and then before they could release them in the United States is when Commodore went bankrupt. And so we were joking at the show that despite the fact that it's one of the more rare Commodore systems, it's not super rare, you know, but it's uncommon, I would say. And there were three of them in the room, where there was about 30 people, and there were three NTSC CD32. So it was definitely that kind of crowd. There was a lot of cool stuff. And so anyway, obviously what I'd like to do on Rando Rob is share things from my collection, but I am not at home, as you can tell, so I don't have any of the collection with me, any of my older things, but I'm scooting over here to make room for visuals here shortly, because what I do have are some of the things that I picked up at Boatfest. Now, I did get some different software and some games, just a couple of minor, small things, and I think all of them... Trying to think through. I think all of them were gifted to me, and so I will definitely be sharing some of those things over time. But those are still packed away down in the car. But I do have a few things that were in my backpack that made it up here that I wanted to share. And so this is the first thing. So at Boatfest, one of the events that was planned was a video game round of Jeopardy, and I was not planning on volunteering to be a contestant. I'm not good at video game trivia. I'm good at the trivia that I know about, but usually that isn't the types of questions that are asked on those types of those types of trivia contests. So, but there weren't enough. I think they were trying to get some people to get to go up there. So a boat asked me if I would go up on the stage. I said sure. And so I was one of the four contestants. I believe it was myself, Jason Warrens, who is one of my patrons, who is here, Adam from the Commodore Chronicles podcast, and Pac Billy, who is a regular on the Amiga Discord forum. And so anyway, I thought if I went on there, I would be, if nothing else, comic relief. I could make a few jokes and keep everyone entertained. But I got a few questions right. And then there was I believe a 400 point. I mean, this was Jeopardy, so it worked just like Jeopardy. They had the screen on a projector, and they had all the categories and things like that. So it was just like Jeopardy. and I believe it was a 400-point question. The category was podcasters on the Amigos network, and it was a question about me. The question was, what are the 3 phases of Flack's early teens or something like that? And it was ninjas, skateboarding, and this, and obviously it's breakdancing. And so I rang in, I said breakdancing, and I got the points, and so that put me in a position to tie. So we went into Final Jeopardy. I was tied for first place with Pack Billy, and the category was 1990s, which I would have felt better if it were 70s or 80s, but 90s was okay. And so the Final Jeopardy answer was, this was the first video game character to have its own float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I had to do some deductive reasoning. I couldn't remember ever seeing. Now, the one thing is, I watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year. I couldn't remember seeing a Mario float. I knew that there had been Mickey Mouse floats, but I didn't think that would be a video game character they were talking about. I thought maybe there had been, I mean, I know there was Pokemon, but that's later, and then it hit me. I know I've seen Sonic the Hedgehog float, so that was what I went with, and I had bet all my money. I had gone into Final Jeopardy with 1,300 points, and my opponent, Pack Billy, also got the question right, but did not bet enough money. So I emerged as the Jeopardy champion. They had 2 rounds of Jeopardy, one for Friday and one for Saturday, but I was the Friday champion, and so I got to pick a prize. And this is the prize that I picked. This is a hardback book called Missile Command, A Journey to the Top of an Arcade Classic. And so I haven't read it yet, but I have it in my bag. And I believe this is a story of the guy that got the high score, or has the high score maybe, for Missile Command. So I'm sure it has a lot of the history of the game, and then probably about this guy that has it. So I don't know anything about it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading this. That's why it's up here in the condo this week. I've got some free time, some downtime in the evening. So, when I'm done with this, I have a shelf of video game related books at home, and this will definitely go on the shelf, so that will be becoming part of the collection. Now, 2 different things that I got to do outside of Boatfest over the weekend while I was here in West Virginia was I got to go to 2 different cryptid museums, cryptids being animals that there is no scientific proof that they exist, but people believe they exist. And, things like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster are cryptids. And so one of the places that I got to go was here, which was the Mothman Museum. And I got some other souvenirs, but this is a sticker I got from the Mothman Museum. Mothman is this strange looking fellow. He kind of looked like a guy with big giant moth wings and these big red eyes. And there have been a few incidents in Point Pleasant. Is it Pleasant or Pleasance? Yeah, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. There's a very famous, there was a bridge collapse, and Mothman was seen at the site just before the bridge collapsed. And so I guess there's a bit of controversy whether or not Mothman destroyed the bridge or Mothman was trying to warn people that the bridge was about to fall. So either way, if you see Mothman and you're about to cross a bridge, you might want to stay away. But on Sunday, Amigo Aaron set up, volunteered to take a group of people, whoever wanted to go to the Mothman Museum. John Marshall, who is on TeamSpeak of regulars and hangs out on the Discord sometime, was there, and Petzel, who is another patron here on my Patreon page, and his wife went with, and so we all had a great time. We got to go see these underground bunkers where they used to store TNT, and this is the woods where Mothman was spotted, and Amigo Aaron's we took around. They showed us where people had gone to and they thought they saw Mothman and all these different things. And we ended up, we ate, and Petzel ended up buying lunch for everybody, which was very, very generous. So, and then we went across the street to this little ice cream parlor that on the wall had pictures of big murals of Mothman and Bigfoot, which is a well-known cryptid that supposedly has a lot of ties in West Virginia. And also, the following day on my way here to DC, I stopped at another museum, which is the Flatwoods Monster Museum. So that is a picture of the Flatwoods Monster. He is also on this hat that I picked up at the museum. The Flatwoods Monster is not like a lot of cryptids. Like, it's not like Bigfoot where there are hundreds and hundreds of sightings. There was basically one sighting, and it was 5 years after Roswell. It was in the early 50s where these kids saw this monster. And you should look up the Flatwoods Monster, because it's not like all alien sightings are little gray aliens with big black eyes and slits for mouths or whatever. But this thing has red eyes. It was wearing green and a metal dress, and it had this, like they described it as an ace of spades hood or something around its head there. Also, it was 10 foot tall and floating, and it has long, skinny arms with these spindly heads. It's a very, very unique monster. So there wasn't much to the museum. There was a lot of toys and sculptures and things, and some paintings and some newspaper articles and stuff. But it was definitely the lesser of the two museums, but it was fun stop. So I picked up a few things there. The last thing I want to show you real quick is this. This is the Boatfest, I don't know what you'd call this, a handout, a flyer. These were available for purchase at the show. I believe you could only buy them at the show. And they have, it has information about the podcast and stuff like that in it, which is pretty cool. It has information about the podcasters. If you look right here, there's a little page about me. There's a fun little article. But this is the important thing that I wanted to share with everybody, is on this page right here, we were allowed to share our supporters. And so if you look right here, if you are watching this video and you're one of my Patreon supporters, I know this the video isn't very great. I'll take a screenshot of this when I get home, or on my scanner. I'll do a little better. But your name is on here. If you were a supporter as of last week, I should say, my 8-bit supporters, my 16-bit supporters are all right there. And so everybody that has a copy of that knows that you're one of the good guys, that you're one of the ones that keeps the wheels moving on the track here. The back of this also has, this is a slightly outdated, there are a couple things added, but this was the agenda for Boatfest. So there was a lot of stuff going on right here. By the way, down here on Sunday, you can see the Mothman tours. So this is something definitely I will have on the shelf when I get home. I have a little spot for things from shows like that. So, man, I had a great weekend. It was so good to, for those of you that are on my Patreon, I know Drazu Scott was there all day Saturday. Had a great time connecting with him. I mentioned that I got to talk a little bit with Petzel at the show, and then on Sunday during the Mothman thing we got to talk. So that was great. And Jason Warrens, I had some long conversations with him. I remember most of them, but then someone broke out a bottle of West Virginia moonshine, and so it made the last couple of conversations are a little hazy, but all in all, it was just a super fun weekend. I had a great time. I have brought my microphone with me, and not the microphone that's on this webcam that I'm using right now, but I have my Blue Yeti, my backup old Blue Yeti. So I don't know if I'll be streaming. I don't know for this week, while I'm here. I don't know if I'll be recording a show, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I've got a little time to mess around with hooking things up and seeing what we could get work. So thank you guys. I had a great time at Boatfest, and you'll be hearing from me very soon.